Hey, Scott Springer, and this is this week's show. It's the long blue line this week. We have Steve Specht, head coach of St. Xavier, Matthew Rueve, the quarterback, and the guys are out to a 2-0 start. You're a three-time state champion. You defeated Colerain. Colerain, always a tough game. I saw you talking to Sean Cutright, middle of the field before the game. How weird was it to not talk to Tom Bolden, middle of the field before the game, and how many of those conversations have you had over the years?
Wow, it was strange. It was really different not seeing Tommy on the Colerain sideline. But Sean's been there a while, and we talked a little bit about the transition and how he's doing with the head coaching deal, and it's good.
Well, he's like you. You were under Steve Brasso for a while. He was under Tom since 2005 and Kerry before that.
Well, and that's the thing that we talked about. Is I remember when I was Steve Brasso's defensive coordinator for years, Steve was grooming me to be the next head coach, and I thought I knew it until they hired me, and then I realized I didn't know a thing. And that's one of the things that Sean and I were talking about before the game. But it was different. You know, it's as we've said, the programs, both St. X and Colerain, are so much bigger than any one individual. So it was just neat to see Sean. You know, Sean's having success, and they're an awful good football team this year.
Now, you going to put Lakota West on the schedule, or does Tom want any part of you?
I don't know. We'll figure that out down the road. I'm worried about this week.
Well, you're putting points on the board, and Matthew didn't get to play a lot last year. You got in that last playoff game, but big improvements for yourself and for the offense in general.
Yes, sir.
How did it go against Colerain? I mean, 26 out of 36 looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's always stuff to improve on, but it's awesome. I have so many good playmakers on offense. Coach Colerain, the new offensive coordinator, he's really great, making sure everybody's getting their job done, and it's just awesome to go out there and be able to play with confidence with all my teammates.
All right, tell me about the young Mr. Lang. Marshall Lang going to Northwestern. They have to like what they're getting, but a 6'4", 225-pound target for you, and you took a liking to him there in the first quarter, and it looks like you guys have some chemistry that you've worked on in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome that you have a target like that, a big guy who's always going to be able to catch the ball for you, but also I have so many other weapons on my offense with all the receivers, Liam Clifford, Owen Smith, Drew Mayer, guys that are opening up the plays for Marshall, so it's really just a team effort. It's great.
How many calls? I mean, you get a lot of calls because you got a lot of dudes. But Marshall Lang, I'm sure you got some calls on, and Liam Clifford, and so on.
It never ends. You've seen the transformation of college recruiting's changed so much, even in the past 5 years, that these coaches are wanting what names of freshmen. I'm thinking I'm trying to figure out if my seniors, trying to get my seniors placed, and they're looking for freshmen. But both Marshall and Liam have received a lot of attention. You know, we have a lot of young kids that are getting attention, but you have to see how they develop and grow over time.
Liam Clifford, I heard you say that he is the best athlete on the team, and then Marshall confirmed that after the game. He said Liam's the best athlete on the team. But just the fact that you can line up those two and throw to one or the other, pick your poison, that's a nice little option. And then Liam can do a lot of other things. You know, he can run it and throw it. He can do so much.
Well, he's a talent. Liam's a very talented young man, but I think Matthew put it best. It's not about one guy. It's about a team effort. And I've never seen a team, or I've never had a team that won because of one guy. I've had teams that have won and been successful because of the collection of the 11 best on the field. You know, we're not looking for we're not looking necessarily for one or two great players. We're looking for 11 guys that play well together. And as Matthew said, he's spreading the ball around this year. I don't know how many guys. Well, we've had eight receivers, 9 receivers with touches. Matthew's doing a great job within the system, and it takes a team. It always has.
Well, and you can run the ball also. You hand the ball to young Luke Versansky, just a sophomore. He had a pretty good first game, and you threw it more this past game. But tell me a little bit about Luke. That's a young guy in a big GCL South backfield there.
Yeah, Luke's a young guy. Got to make sure that he's in line, knows his stuff. But he's been doing really well lately with all of his shift. He's very shifty. I mean, he's just an awesome guy to have in the backfield.
Now, give me your sales pitch now, because when we talk about guys that call you college offers and all that, then you tell me that, well, St. X has more than just football players. You have a lot of people, a lot of professionals.
Well, we have one player in the NFL, Melanie and I were talking earlier, but we have a lot of guys that go on to be doctors, lawyers, tradesmen, teachers. that's why we do this. That's why we're involved in this. So we're not necessarily just trying to produce college football players. We're trying to find a fit. And Northwestern University and Coach Fitz is a tremendous fit for Marshall Lang and what Marshall wants to do with his future. And that's really what we try to do. We'll try to do the same thing with Matthew. He wants to play at the next level. Try to find the best fit academically and athletically, because chances are Matthew's going on to a career in something other than football.
Well, and then on the elevator ride on up, Matthew was taking a pre-calculus test today, so that
and he did well.
Yeah,
right?
Of course he did well. He's
Yeah.
a quarterback. You got to know the plays. You got to know everything. All right, let's talk about this Andrew Coverdale dude now. You had a past relationship with him. He was at Louisville Trinity. I looked it up. 3-3. He got you 3 times. You got him 3 times. He seems like kind of a mad scientist up there. But everyone likes what you're doing. Is this your best hire? We're 2 games in, but is this your best hire so far?
Well,
or one of the best?
I'm not a very smart man, Scott, and many people tell me that. But what I do know is I need to surround myself with people that are better than me, so that I grow and I get better. And Andrew's one of those guys. I've known Andrew for a long time. We hit the clinic trail together. Boy, before we started playing, I used to visit with him and have him clinic me on offense. And I can tell you this much, trying to prepare for an Andrew Coverdale offense is very difficult, because I've tried to do it as a defensive coordinator. He's the best. And when we were making some moves this year in the offseason, he was the first person we targeted. And fortunately, we had a history position open at St. X. And as good of a football coach as he is, he's an even better teacher. He's an advanced placement. He's off the charts academic. He's smart. He's really good. And we're blessed. And Matthew will be able to speak to what he does day to day. But I feel very blessed to have Andrew a part of our staff and part of my life. And he's made us all better.
Well, as a quarterback, it has to be fun. I talked to you a little bit after the game, but I know kids play Xbox. They don't run a whole lot of the wing tee in the Xbox. They throw it around a little bit. And so you lead the GCL South in passing right now.
Yes, sir. And
how fun is it?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, this offense, he really makes it fit for everybody, and it's awesome how he coaches it up. He coaches all of us to love each other, go out there and play for our teammates, and end of the day, just put with that championship finish. And I think that's really working out for us right now.
All right, a defensive guy like you, I noticed the last 2 games, Tucker Hunley, TJ O'Malley, they either were involved in plays that led to touchdowns, or the plays resulted in touchdowns, one of the 2. Those guys are pretty awesome. And then I think Noah Taylor's your top tackler, leading the GCL South in tackling.
Well, you've just named 3 returning starters. You always have to have a nucleus to build around. And boy, Tuck and TJ and Noah have really grown and developed as seniors, and that's what you expect. And you want the young guys to develop around them. We have a lot of young, immature guys on the defensive side, but when you have a core nucleus of guys like Tuck and Noah and TJ, you can build quickly. We just need to grow up really fast.
Mishawaka, Indiana, I was told is it near South Bend?
It is. It's right, I think, 6 miles outside of South Bend.
Okay. Do you take a side trip to look at the Golden Dome and Touchdown Jesus and all that? I mean, you're playing the mighty Penn Kingsmen, I see.
Unfortunately, we play on Friday, so we're not able to make that trip. But a lot of our kids are going to stay up Saturday, go to the Notre Dame, New Mexico game. But no, we're not going to be able to make those trips. But you might remember Paulus, the quarterback at Notre Dame. His son is, I believe, a junior quarterback for the Kingsmen. He's highly recruited, a 6'4", 230-pound quarterback, very talented young man. Unfortunately, I believe he has an ankle injury that required surgery, but they're talented. They won 5 big school state championships in Indiana, so we've got our hands full.
And you're still 2 weeks away from the GCL South. You're going to play Moeller at Nippert. That'll be a nice experience. Moeller's struggling a little bit now, but Elder of LaSalle, they look like they have pretty tough teams, so a fun time yet again, 2019 GCL South.
Yeah, it's the old throw the 4 teams names in a hat, pull it out, you're going to get a different order every time. It's a lot of fun. You look at the 2 games Moeller's played, it isn't like they're ducking opponents. Both their opponents, Cathedral and Trinity, are tremendous.
Right.
And Todd will get it together. He'll figure it out, and he'll get them rolling by the middle of the year.
And Cathedral's playing about everybody this year, it seems like.
Yeah, they're the 5th GCL team.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And Winton Woods might be the 6th. I always said Winton Woods should be honorary GCL South with the schedule they've played here. And I don't know if you guys play them this year or not. I forget.
No.
But anyway, back to Steve Rasso. You mentioned Steve, legendary coach and all that. You come in and you win 3 state titles. How tough is it to get out of this district and win a state title? And the last time you did it was 2016, and you went in at 5-5.
Well, it's brutal. You mentioned Steve. Boy, he built the program. I was fortunate enough to play for him and coach for him for years, and he built the program. And I was fortunate enough to, when he decided to step down, to get the job. And the Region 4 is just brutal. To survive Region 4 is one thing, but then to be healthy enough to continue through is a whole other deal. And we've been very fortunate to stay healthy. You know, we've had a lot of great players, great kids that have played well together, and they've stayed healthy in those 3 years. But it's brutal. I would argue that this is the toughest region. Well, I wouldn't say that it's tougher than every region, but I will say I'd match it with anybody in the country.
Sure.